Clear every mosquito out of your backyard and keep your family protected all season long using the same field-tested system the military relies on. And the core of it costs less than $20. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it is not. The reason most people cannot win this fight has nothing to do with how hard they are trying. It is that they are attacking the wrong target. When you sleep on the ground in a jungle where every cloud of mosquitoes can carry malaria, you learn fast that you do not chase the ones biting you. You destroy the next generation before it ever takes flight. That is the method the military worked out decades before the civilian market caught up. And once you understand it, you will never waste another dollar on a citronella candle again. Let's go. Here is the thing most people never stop to consider. A mosquito does not need a pond to breed. It needs a bottle cap of water. That clogged gutter along your roof line, the saucer under a flower pot, the folds of a tarp draped over the woodpile, the kids' toys left out in the backyard after a rainstorm. A single female lands on that water and lays 100 to 300 eggs at a time. In the summer heat, those eggs go from egg to wriggling larva to biting adult in as little as 3 to 5 days. One forgotten bucket becomes a swarm before the next weekend. And the worst offender in most American backyards is the Asian tiger mosquito, the black and white striped one that bites you in broad daylight while you are pulling weeds in the garden bed. It does not wait for dusk. It rests in the shade of your shrubs and your tall grass and comes for you the moment you step outside. Now, you might think of a mosquito as just an itch. I am telling you, it is the deadliest animal on the planet. The World Health Organization ties more than 700,000 human deaths every single year to the diseases mosquitoes carry. Here at home, West Nile virus is the leading mosquito-borne illness in the country, and the CDC puts it at about 2,000 cases a year, around 1,200 of them attacking the brain and the nervous system, and roughly 120 deaths. In 2023, for the first time in 2 decades, mosquitoes spread malaria inside the United States again. 10 cases across 4 states. And every one of those mosquitoes drifting around your deck can pass heartworm larvae straight into your dog with a single bite. And here is the part that should concern every homeowner. A mosquito is a weak flyer. That tiger mosquito biting you stays within about 1/10 of a mile of where it hatched its entire life. So if they are swarming your patio, the breeding ground is not down the street. It is somewhere on your own property. And that is exactly why almost everything people reach for fails. Walk down any hardware store aisle in the summer, and you will see a wall of products that do almost nothing. The citronella candle on the patio table. When researchers tested it in a controlled study published in the Journal of Insect Science, it did not significantly reduce the number of mosquitoes coming after a person. The scent masks you for a few inches in dead-still air, and the moment a breeze moves across the yard, it is gone. The ultrasonic repeller plugged into your wall, the little gadget promising a silent force field. The American Mosquito Control Association reviewed at least 10 studies and found these devices have no repellent value whatsoever. Mosquitoes do not even hear in that range. The bug zapper crackling on the porch all night? Studies out of Notre Dame found mosquitoes made up only 4 to 6% of everything those traps killed. The rest were harmless beetles and moths that were never biting anyone. The mosquito-repelling plant on the windowsill does nothing while it sits there. And the bat house you nailed up after reading that one bat eats 1,000 mosquitoes an hour? That number came from a single 1960 lab experiment in a closed room with nothing else to eat. In the wild, mosquitoes are a tiny sliver of what a bat actually hunts. The common thread in every one of those failures is the same. They all chase the adult mosquito buzzing around your head and completely ignore the standing water where they breed and the shaded leaves where they rest. In the jungle, nobody tried to swat their way out of a mosquito problem. Disease put more men in the hospital than the enemy ever did. So you learned to attack the source and stack your defenses in layers. That is the entire secret, and it is about to save you a lot of money. There is one product that costs about $10, that mosquito control districts and the military have leaned on for years, and that most homeowners have never even heard of. It does something no spray on that store shelf can do. But before you buy anything, the first move is free. The whole game starts with reading your own terrain the way ground gets read overseas. Every container holding water after a rain is a nursery. The flower pot saucers, the kiddie pool, the leaves packed into the gutters, the upturned wheelbarrow, the bird bath that has not been refreshed in a week. Emptying those and keeping them dry erases the breeding sites you can actually reach. The trouble is, the water you cannot reach. The tree hole in the old oak, or the low, boggy spot in the lawn that never fully drains. And that is where the cheap weapon comes in. It is called BTI, short for Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis, and the easiest way to get it is a product called Summit Mosquito Dunks. It is a little donut of compressed bacteria, and a six-pack runs about $10. One of them drops into any standing water you cannot drain. The rain barrel, the backyard pond, the clogged ditch, the bottom of a downspout. Here is what makes it different from anything in a spray can. BTI is not a poison that coats the surface. It is a naturally occurring soil bacterium. When a mosquito larva swimming in that water swallows it, the bacterial proteins bind to the lining of the larva's gut and rupture it from the inside. The larva stops feeding and dies within a day before it ever grows wings. And listen, this is the part that matters for your family. BTI only affects the larvae of mosquitoes, black flies, and fungus gnats. The EPA states plainly that it poses no risk to people. It will not hurt your fish, your dog, your honeybees, or the birds drinking from that water. One dunk treats up to 100 square feet of surface water and keeps working for 30 days or more. Now here is where it gets really interesting. This same bacterium turns into a trap, the way controlled breeding sites were used to draw insects in and kill them in the field. A dark 5-gallon bucket of water with a handful of grass clippings left to rot for a few days gives off the exact smell of stagnant organic water a pregnant female mosquito is hunting for. She flies right past the clean bird bath and lays her eggs in that bucket instead. With a BTI dunk floating in it, every larva that hatches is dead within a day. It is a decoy that pulls the next generation in and destroys it. A few of these, tucked into the shaded corners of the property, with the BTI always topped up and the buckets kept well away from where the family sits, quietly collapse the population from the water up. Once the water is handled, the number of new mosquitoes drops off a cliff. But there are still the adults already resting in your yard right now, and what happens to them is going to surprise you. This is where a residual barrier spray comes in, and I want to be straight with you about the cost, because the title of this video made you a promise. The professional-grade products here come as a concentrate. Bifenthrin, which is bifenthrin at 7.9%, or a micro-encapsulated lambda cihalothrin like Seismic CS from Control Solutions, the same chemistry as Syngenta's Demand. A bottle runs more than $20 up front, but that one bottle makes dozens of gallons, so the actual cost to treat your yard works out to just a few dollars each time. That is the honest math. What it does is simple. The barrier goes on to the undersides of leaves, along the fence line, into the shaded shrubs and the area under the deck where mosquitoes hide during the heat of the day. When a mosquito lands on that treated surface, the chemical passes through its body and shuts down its nervous system. It does not knock them out of the air on contact. It turns every resting spot in the yard into a kill zone over the following hours. And I am telling you the truth on the Residual, too. The label may say 90 days, but in the real world, with sun and rain breaking it down, you are realistically looking at about 4 weeks before it needs refreshing. One hard rule: every one of these products is toxic to bees and to fish, so it never goes on flowers in bloom and never near a pond. And in just a minute, I am going to give you the one device worth setting on the patio table for the evenings. But first, the layer that protects your own body. It is called permethrin, and the easiest version for a homeowner is Sawyer permethrin, a clothing and gear treatment at 0.5%. A 12-ounce bottle is about $14, comfortably under $20. This is the civilian version of the approach the military uses in the field, where the uniforms come treated before they are ever issued. Permethrin is not something that goes on your skin. It bonds to the fibers of your clothing, your hat, your socks, and the canvas of your camp chair. When a mosquito or a tick lands on that treated fabric, it does not just get repelled. It takes a lethal dose on contact. A former Navy entomologist described it as landing on an electric grid. One treatment lasts about 6 weeks or 6 washes. A study out of the University of Rhode Island found people wearing treated shoes and socks were more than 70 times less likely to get a tick bite. One caution: cats are sensitive to it while it is still wet, so apply the treatment away from them and leave it to dry fully. And here is the thing: permethrin handles your clothing, but it does not protect the skin that is still exposed. That is why you never rely on a single layer. The military pairs treated clothing with a repellent on the skin, and you should do the same. The CDC backs a short list of ingredients that actually work. Plain DEET, around 25 to 30%, gives several hours of protection, or picaridin at 20%, which is odorless and safe to use on children. A bottle of either runs about $8. Clothing that kills on contact, skin that turns them away. That is the layered system, and it is the same logic that kept whole units out of the hospital overseas. Now, for that one device. It is called a thermocell, and it uses a repellent called metofluthrin, gently warmed so it rises into the air and creates a zone of protection about 15 to 20 feet around your chair. It is the one gadget that independent testing actually backs up. The device itself costs more than $20, so I will keep it honest and call it the upgrade. But the fuel refills cost under $20. It works best set upwind of where you are sitting, because a stiff breeze will carry the zone away. So, look at what you have built. You have killed the larvae in the water with a $10 pack of BTI before they ever grew wings. You have turned the shaded resting spots into a barrier the adults cannot survive. And you have wrapped your own family in clothing and skin protection the mosquitoes cannot get past. That is not one product hoping to do everything. That is a layered defense where each piece covers what the others miss. And the core of it, the source reduction that costs nothing, the BTI at about $10, the permethrin at about $14, the skin spray at about $8. Every bit of that comes in under $20 a layer. The barrier spray is the one investment that climbs higher up front and pays you back over dozens of treatments. Compare that to a fogging service that shows up, sprays the air, and buys you less than a single day of relief before the next batch hatches and the neighbor's mosquitoes drift back in. I am telling you, this is the difference between treating the symptom and eliminating the source. And if ticks are sharing that same shaded brush line along your property, the permethrin you just learned about is only half of what keeps them off your family. I broke down the full tick defense in a separate video. Now you know exactly how mosquitoes breed, why the candles and zappers and gadgets keep failing you, and what actually clears them out of your backyard for good. If you have battled a brutal mosquito season around your home, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one of them. Thank you for watching. God bless.